Welcome back to Sunrise today. Well, we're focusing on some developments in Anambra as they approach the governorship elections in the state. There's been some accusations making the round between the incumbent governor and his predecessor. We're about to find out what exactly is going on. We've got Mr. Joe Martins Uzodike, who is the Director General of Obaze Campaign Organization. He's a member of the PDP. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much, both of you.
Well, some allegations here about finances of the state, who is requesting for what. Well, give us some background to this. What informs this accusation about the former governor demanding $7 billion from the incumbent governor in order to get support or pay for services provided previously? What's that about?
Well, you saw it the way I saw it, and of course, you know rightly that because I was in this studio, I was the Director General of the Willie Obiano Campaign Organization back way in 2013. So I'm the person that produced the governor. I ran the campaign and took note of everything about the campaign. I think people are mixing up a lot of things because, in all fairness, I want to exclude Governor Willie Obiano from that statement because he has never made that statement. Rather, some people are saying that they are his aides anyway, and it is presumed that whatever his aides says are saying. The issue of $7 billion came up in 2014 after the elections. I was the person that went on air to say that this election, or Obiano's election, cost us over $7 billion. I made that statement. I own it up as the DG. When I ran for the governorship of Anambra State myself in 2003, after the election, I published the accounts of my election, wherein one individual, Prince Engineer Atoeze, donated $75 million into my accounts for the election. So I owe it as a duty to people of Anambra State to tell them what elections cost when I became DG. I made a pronouncement that the election cost, and a lot of people donated into the election, some in dollars, some in naira, and I have records.
So you published this and submitted it to who?
I said, no, the one for my own election, I published.
No, what about
This one, I went on radio. It was a radio program where I was asked a question and I stated what.
Did you in any way infer, either by directly or by innuendo, that money be refunded?
How can I refer? I requested the governor after the election, because after the election I was his special advisor political. I requested that we acknowledge receipt of that by writing people thank you letter, which he declined. He said he doesn't want to do it. Okay, he never did it. But publicly I made a statement and acknowledged them, thanked them, and said what it cost us for the election. Okay, so there is no iota of truth that the governor ever demanded a penny. And it is even silly. How can a man who handed over $75 billion to a government come back to the same government asking them to give him $7 billion? If somebody is owing you and you have his money and you want to give him, why won't you take your money and then give him the balance? You see, this is part of the grand style to smear a man whom Nigerians are celebrating. There is no history in this country where any governor, past, present, left $1 in the accounts of any state government. This man, Peter Obi, left $156 billion in 3 banks. And on the day of his handover, he invited the managing directors of those 3 banks to be present at the handover. And he will say, I have left in Fidelity $50 billion. Is the MD of the Fidelity here? He will say, I'm here. He will say, get up. And he will say, I'm with the money. He will call Access Bank, and he will call Lexoti, who is Diamond Bank, to acknowledge same. And then the Naira components were all stipulated and handed over. And our governor signed acknowledgement. Even when his surrogate sometime started, we published the list of the banks, the balance sheet as of that day, the amount left, and whatever, so bank account.
Why did that generate controversy at the time concerning the exact amount of money that was left in the coffers?
You see, when the governor started behaving the way he wanted to behave.
What does that mean?
I mean, when he started distancing himself from an agreed program, the theme of our government was continuity. And when we discovered that there was no more continuity, all the projects we left, none of them have been touched.
Such as?
The Onitsha hotels, 5-star hotels by the ShopRite, since Governor Obiano came in, not a single block has gone on that hotel. The ShopRite at Oka, completely shut down, not a single kobo has been invested in it. The Agro Lake Hotel is kept there, not a single kobo has been invested on it. The Nnewi Shopping Mall has been kept there, and we left 38 roads. 38 roads. My brother, when P2B came in, Ngige left 13 roads. P2B finished all those roads. If you want, if you have time, I'll mention the roads. You know, I'll tell you what Ngige stopped it and where P2B finished it. You know, it was continuity. But this time around, the state is in a mess. 38 roads, only 3 of them that were completed. They came and did street marking and said it's complete. The rest are left like that, 35 of them.
But how come this is contrary to what several others have put out, saying that these things are not the case, because quite a number of people say that the governor, from their own perspective, is exceeding expectations?
Is a media phoria. That is hyper on the media. It's a media government. Look, channels in 2009, when P2B wanted to run for the second term, were invited with other editors. You came to Anambra and you were shown the things on the ground. Tell the governor, we challenge him. We took all the headmasters, all the journalists in Nigeria, all aspects of the society to come and see what the governor has done. I am going to volunteer myself to provide the vehicles free of charge. Call these people and take them around what you've done. Nothing is on ground. It's hyper. You people carried here that our state exported Ogo to America. There is no single place in Anambra where Ogo is cultivated by government. And I stand here on every authority and respect. I'm a lawyer. I have the man you're talking, the governor. I was in school with him, and I taught him in class. So I'm not coming here to disparage any person. I'm just telling you, you people are looking at Anambra from the newspapers, which are paid, from programs, which are censored. Come to Anambra yourself. We are in the election. Let people take you around all the things they claim. That's all we're asking.
So you're saying the governor has not done that, and what is reported has been done?
Everything you've seen on everywhere are pure lies. Any government that communicates...
Our correspondents on ground are not seeing. That's what you're saying.
Look, your correspondents, bring them here and ask them. They will bring you what they have not seen anything. If they show you a picture of where Ogo is cultivated in Anambra State, we brought carriers that puts rice. We know the quantity of rice. All the rice eaten in Anambra State come from Abakaliki and so on. But people told you here that Anambra is the biggest manufacturer of rice. We brought carriers. The 2 other farms, the one at Amici, the Luan farms, they bring rice from Abakaliki and they only mill it in the place. We patronize them. We named it Anambra rice. Okay? You see, everything you are seeing, false. Calm down yourself. If you like, as a party, we can sponsor you to come and do your own independent documentary and come back and air it. Without censorship. We give you that privilege. What they are doing now is just, they want to drag in a governor who has performed. They want to run him down because they believe he's another party. I mean, it's funny and terrible.
Why is it that some traditional rulers, because as of yesterday, we understand that traditional rulers from the town of the PDP candidates visited the governor and said if the PDP candidate had consulted them, that they would not have asked him to run. In fact, we understand that there were about 6 of them representing 13 communities. And they said, look, it's a mistake that the PDP candidate is running because the governor has performed beyond expectations.
I challenge those traditional rulers if you say they went there.
Yeah, we should show.
Listen. I said I challenge those traditional rulers to tell you one single project the governor has done in their community. And that is our campaign slogan. Let the governor tell each community what has been done in their place. Okay? You can organize people and buy people and tell them to come and endorse you. We have a lot of endorsements.
So the traditional rulers here were bought?
I don't know the traditional rulers. You see, the people you are seeing now, you are calling them traditional rulers. I don't know them. I'm the commissioner for information, culture, and tourism. Most of these spaces I'm seeing here, I don't know them. And mind you, the traditional rulers owe their certificate of existence on the governor.
You know,
you see, these traditional rulers are from Obaze, for example.
Yeah.
They are from Obaze, local government.
Where your candidate is from?
Yeah, of course. And all these traditional rulers hold meetings with their candidate. Don't worry. What will the test of the pudding is in eating. I can assure you, if on the day of election, the governor secures 25% of the votes cast in that local government, I'll come here and apologize to those who are listening to me now.
Mr. Uzodike, you know, you just said that you don't know them, and yet you said you now said they are from Obaze. At least you know they are from Obaze.
No, he said he has already said that the traditional rulers from my candidate's place. So I assume they are from Obaze because he's from Obaze. I'm telling you that the faces I saw.
Let me ask you a question. Yes. In 2013, you said you brought in this governor.
No, I didn't bring him.
No,
I was the
campaign
that brought
manager.
Him yes.
The ex-general of a campaign organization.
Yes.
So you brought in this governor. You said it here.
Of course.
So how is it then that now you're sitting down here to say he's not doing anything?
Because I know I owe it as a duty to tell people he's doing nothing.
So that means you owe the Anambra people an apology.
Oh, of course, I've since done that openly in Anambra State. This is channels in Lagos. This is not where our people belong. They belong in the things that operate within Anambra State. I have since gone there and told them it's a mistake. And I told them that it's a mistake because there is a name which the governor answered. His Igbo name is Mada Abrochukwu. I'm not God. I wouldn't have seen tomorrow. If I have seen tomorrow, I wouldn't have been part of it. Honestly speaking, I wouldn't have been part of it.
So how is he think that Mr. Obaze will go ahead and unseat the incumbent?
He said, how is what?
How easy do you think your candidate is going to go ahead and unseat the incumbent?
It is the easiest project ever. That's why I accepted to be his DG campaign this time around, because it is two things. Just two things on the table. If you are a governor, you are campaigning before the communities, what will you tell them? I have done this for you. I have done this for you. I have done this for you. If you allow me to go back, I will do this. That is his campaign. But if you come to the community and you cannot say one single thing you have done for them, then they will not vote for you. And the people are aware of that. We have 177 communities, okay, that he's going to traverse in the election. He never did it before. We did it for him. He will now on his own go to tell those people what he has. We just finished the tour of the 21 local governments on Saturday. And it is a replica of same. Okay? Even in his own local government. Outside his village, Eziagol, in Agulere. Eziagol, Agulere, not all Aguleres. We have Ifita Agulere, we have Enugotu and so on.
You've also heard reports of some of the former aspirants in your party that they didn't eventually get the ticket. There are reports that they seem to be supporting the governor to go ahead. I think there are statements credited to the former governor of CBN saying, look, nothing is broken, there's nothing to fix.
And our campaign flyers is the state is completely broken, we can fix it. A man comes from somewhere and he says he's not broken because he doesn't live in the place. When in his community, the CBN governor that says that is from Ethiopia, there is no single government presence in the place. No road, no water, nothing. So will he stay in wherever he comes, he gets to Oka and in a microphone says it's not broken? We are saying it is completely broken. If it's not broken, show us the evidence. You see, the campaign now is about what you can see, what you can touch, what you can feel. It doesn't hide.
So in other words, you're telling us to discountenance the statements credited to the special advisor to this current governor on communication, saying that this disagreement happened because the former governor requested some gratification, and when that wasn't going to happen,
for goodness sake,
they now brought in Mr. Obaze to come in and contest.
I said, if you look at the pedigree of P2B, for example, this is the man who governed our state, and even the State Executive Council resolved to give him a land to build a house and live in it. He said he will not touch it, and he never touched it. He doesn't own any single government land anywhere. This is a man who owns no land in any part of this country except on where he lives. He doesn't have a building in his house. He lives in his parents' house in Agolo as a governor until date. Let no person query you about that. He lives in his father's house, built by his mother in the village.
So what do you say to those who then argue that, look, why should they support P2B's, whoever your candidate? Because if they said he was his SSG at the time.
And was also the SSG of the present governor.
And he says, well, if you didn't see him good enough to choose him at that time, whatever reasons you're bringing up now, why should they support him? What's the guarantee that the same thing will happen next time out?
I can tell you. Let me tell you the history. Obaze, Oseloko Obaze, who also was my schoolmate, we've been friends for 45 years. He served both the Babangida administration, the Buhari administration, the Shagari administration before he was sent to United Nations on inter-party coalitions. He solves problems for the United Nations all over the world. He was instrumental to our queuing into the MDG, which was P2B's queue. It was his strength in governance. He made us queue into it. Before 2006, until 2008, Anambra State does not get a kobo from the MDG. Okay? It was after P2B came in and sourced Obaze that made him queue in. Along the line, after 2 years, he wooed Obaze to come and join his government, since he is instrumental to this project. And finally, after 2 years of persuasion, Obaze resigned and joined. And you can see how Anambra was totally transformed. In the process, as SSG, we prepared him to take over the government, because indices of power.
To take over now and not then.
I said we prepared him to take over the governance of Anambra State, knowing fully well that a success without successor is a failure. He is the candidate we produced for 2013 election.
Let's go to Markwe. She's got a question. Markwe.
So from your submissions now, you will say that former Governor Peter Obi was a failure because the successor he's put in place has not quite pleased you, as it were. Is that right?
Did I get the question well? You said?
You just said success without a successor is a failure. Considering all that you have said about the current governor of the state, would you then say that Governor Peter Obi was a failure because you're not happy about the current successor he has in place?
Well, you got I talked about the indices of power. Indices of power means that if you succeed, you must put somebody who will continue with the success you've made. Now, Anambra is in a down-drawn. We're going down. And all the indices are there. We were first in education and on the WAEC and NECO for 4 years. For 4 years, we were first. Now we are seventh and we are sixth. So we are going down. Do we classify that as a success or a failure? We are going down. All the roads that are kept there, they are down. No new one is coming up.
No flyovers.
There is what you call is best handled by the Ngige, who named it whatever he named it.
No rice production farms.
There is no single one that has come up under this administration.
No security.
The security in the state was done by us.
Was done by you. Let me ask you. You said to me about ShopRite. How much did the last government put into ShopRite?
The ShopRite in Onitsha, okay, is completely owned 100% by individual investors. What we contributed to ShopRite was merely the land. That was the land where ABS was situated. ABS Onitsha, Anambra State Broadcasting Service. I was commissioner.
I thought the news out there is about $3 billion.
I said we did not put one kobo. Quote me anywhere. Any person tells you otherwise, he's a liar. I am the commissioner for information from the commencement to the finishing. Anambra State's contribution to ShopRite Onitsha is merely the ABS land, which I moved to Awada and built an ultramodern place for them. So our own equity in that project is the land. We did not put one farthing, and government has never put in one farthing to date. It is the one in Oka.
So if you say then, I mean, from all that you have submitted, because you haven't quite answered my question, yes. You have just gone on to reiterate what you said before. I simply said, I'm asking whether or not you think that makes the tenor or even the governor, former governor Peter Obi, a failure from all that you have said. But let's leave that aside. There's also the question of how you say, I produced this governor. I put him in place. I did not see tomorrow. If I could see tomorrow, I wouldn't have marketed him to the people of Anambra State. Now, they will also ask you, can you see tomorrow now? How do you know that the current candidate you're marketing is not going to just do what you say that this current governor is doing?
I will only see today and predicate my analogy on the past, because I have worked with him. I was commissioner, he was SSG. I was special advisor to Obiano, and he was SSG too. And knowing his pedigree, this one I know his pedigree, and that's why we brought him. He was part of the success story in Anambra State. We prepared him. We had even a vote within the State Executive Council and the people of Anambra, and they took him as a choice to replace Governor Peter Obi, only for them to go, and the chairman of the party refused and disqualified him, just to make sure he doesn't run, just like Charles Soludo was disqualified, and a lot of others, for flimsy reasons. So if a party is supposed to submit a name and they disqualify him, we kept quiet because we wanted to hand over. Okay? That's how that propelled the emergence of Governor Obiano, which...
Yeah. When you were talking, I'll take you back to the ShopRite thing.
Yes.
You talked about the one in Oka. So how much did the government...
I said the one in Oka is completely owned by government.
No, you said the one in Onitsha.
No.
You said the one in Onitsha is completely owned by individuals. The
yes.
one in Oka is owned by government.
Beautiful.
How much did your government put into it?
We've put in more than $1 billion there.
More than $1 billion?
Yes. And the money for the project was set aside in an account. An exclusive account for that project.
So when the audit was done and it was discovered that it was much, much less than $500 million, that audit was wrong?
Which audit?
Was there an audit done on what was left behind?
Audit of what?
Of that ShopRite?
No. Who did the audit?
There was no audit.
No audit. Let people publish the audit. The things are not lying.
Okay, so Anambra Rice.
Yes.
You said it was the concept of the previous administration.
You see, what you call the Anambra Rice is a rice milling mill situated at Amici. In Amici, no single rice is grown there.
Anambra North doesn't grow rice.
No. We're talking about Anambra Rice. I'm just trying to tell you. There's a rice called Anambra Rice. You must distinguish it. If you're talking about rice manufacturing in Anambra State, I'll take it globally. But if you're talking about Anambra Rice, okay, there is a rice called Anambra. If you come to Anambra, you will see a signboard of Anambra.
We're trying to buy time here. So rice, you said earlier that the rice is brought in from Ebonyi and is milled there.
Yes, for Amici, the one there. So the Coscaris, which is situated in Ayabelum, okay, Coscaris rice. It is Governor Peter Obi that invited Cos Maduka to come and establish it.
So it wasn't this administration?
It wasn't this administration. Cos Maduka is alive. You bring him to your channel. He lives in Lagos here. It's Coscaris Motors. Cos Maduka was invited by us, and Governor Peter Obi issued him a certificate of occupancy and then gave him the land. It's not done by this government. Let them tell you that they did it. We come next program, we pay for it, we come and show you the certificate of occupancy.
Okay, sorry. Let me just read this out to you.
Yes.
This is a viewer who's watching. He said, this man came on air on Odenibo FM and demanded that Obiano repay Obi 7 billion used for his campaign.
I've never done that. The man is short of words. I've always made it clear. I've shouted, you can call for Odenibo and let them give you a tape. It's there. If I said it, Odenibo wouldn't have, they would have been playing it on tape, knowing the way they operate. So don't worry about what they write to you.
So if the PDP loses this election, is that going to be interpreted as though it's a very bad blow for your candidate and for Peter Obi?
We're not talking about, Peter Obi has nothing to lose. Peter Obi has started going on.
No,
he's being celebrated.
No, he's the one who said that this current government has not done anything.
Who said?
At that Nnewi PDP campaign forum, it's quoted everywhere.
Don't worry about what people quote in your lesson, but the realities are there.
Is that not true?
You see,
you didn't say that.
I wasn't there.
Okay.
But I can tell you that wherever you go and you say the governor has not done anything, if he has done anything, the people will react. All right.
Joe Martin Uzodike is the Director General of Obaze Campaign Organization of the PDP. Thank you for coming on this morning. We'll be back in a moment.